In this video, you are going to create the banner, which is the decorative piece at the top of the website, usually incorporating some type of a logo, and the navigation, which are the buttons that help you get around from page to page in the website. Notice I have my folder and I've renamed it period number underscore last name underscore Alamo. Everything is lowercase, no spaces. Inside that folder, you're going to see that there are two more folders. One of them is images, and these are the images that actually are seen on the website. The other folder is source, and source can contain many different things, and if you open it, you'll see that there's also two images in here. Well, these two images we're going to use to create something, another image that goes on the website, but they're not actually on the website themselves. So that's why they go in the source folder, because they are a source, but they don't actually get viewed on the website. So we're going to start with Adobe Fireworks, and Adobe Fireworks has a lot of similarities to Photoshop. And that's because it's also an Adobe product. You're going to open it up from Applications, and you'll see the welcome screen here. We're going to start off by creating a new document, and this new document is going to start off, it's going to be the banner, and the size of it is going to be 900 pixels, 900 pixels in width and 150 height. We'll keep the resolution at 72 pixels per inch, and then we're going to choose a custom color. So if you choose custom, click on the color picker. We're going to come up here and we're going to use the hexadecimal code to put in the background color. It's going to be 999933. Now, if you move your mouse, it's actually going to possibly pick up another color before you click out of there. So the best thing to do once you type it in is to hit return or enter, and then that way you know you get that color. Go ahead and click OK. Now you have this kind of army green color, that's going to be the background. We also want to open these two files here because we're going to use them in the banner. So I'm going to hold down Control so that I can open with Fireworks. And now you can see that I have 3 files here. Over here are all our tools, and of course you recognize selection tools. Here's my pointer tool. My pointer tool is going to allow me to use this graphic right here and select it to bring it over here. Now, it does have a white background, but that white background is separate from this picture of the Alamo. You can see it's a PNG. That means it's a native fireworks, well, I shouldn't say native fireworks file. It could be a native fireworks file, and in this case it is. So I'm going to click on this. See, it gives me the blue background. That's how I know it's selected. I'm going to do a Command C to copy. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to Command V to paste. And I'm going to move this over to the right side of the screen or of the document. And I'm going to use my transform. I can do a Command T, or just below the pointer tool is my scale tool. I can hold down the Shift key and I can resize it just a little bit because I do want to see the decorative top here of the Alamo. It's okay that it's going a little bit below, but you can see how I want to have that top piece showing. Okay? Now, obviously, we don't want to just throw photos on our banner. We need to do something to make this look better. So we're going to do what's called a mask. And this mask is different than the masks you've used in Photoshop and Flash. We're going to start off by coming down here to the vector section and getting our rectangle tool. And once you choose a tool, you know that your properties change. Over here is your fill color, right here is your stroke color. So for our fill, instead of having it a solid color, we actually want to click on that and we want to use a gradient. And we're going to choose linear. Okay, so here we have a linear gradient. Then when we pick click on the color box, you can see that we have our color pickers. So here is black. Here we would want white. Okay. And for our stroke, if we click on the color picker, you want no stroke. That's why I have that white box with the red line through it. That means that there is going to be no stroke there. Also notice that there's other things down here at the bottom, edge and texture. Make sure both of those are set to 0. All right, now when you draw your rectangle, you're going to draw it so that it basically covers this picture of the Alamo, just like this. It's okay if it goes off of the document a little bit, but make sure it covers it completely. Now, when you get this, your gradient is probably going to go top to bottom. And we actually want it to change so it goes left to right. So up here, you can see where I have the little circle. That circle is where the black starts. I'm going to drag it over to the left side of the rectangle. Now, you'll see a square at the other end of this line. That's where it ends, and that's where it becomes white. So I'm going to drag that over to the right edge of the rectangle. Now, in order to make this a mask, we actually have to select the rectangle and the image of the Alamo behind it. You can do the drag marquee method. However, since that Alamo photo is kind of invisible behind it, it might be best to use your layers panel. Remember, if you don't have a panel visible using Adobe products, they're always under the window menu. And there's my layers. So if I click on rectangle and then shift click on bitmap, I can see that they're both selected. Then I'm going to go to the modify menu, mask, group as mask. Now, what that mask did, and if you think back to your other masking in the other photos or other software, you're going to see that it actually is a little bit similar, because where is black, that's where it shows through, and where it's white is where the image is completely visible. So in the middle of the photo, it's kind of invisible, faded out, fully visible to the right, just how we want it. Now, this next photo that we're going to use is called Alamo Floor Plan, and I'm going to zoom in on it a little bit. It's basically a black and white image that is a map of the Alamo, the floor plan. So I'm going to use my magic wand tool, which is here in the bitmap area. Now, if you look at your properties down below, you'll see that you have tolerance. If we go ahead and set the tolerance up at 100, it's going to allow us to select more of the black and easier. Okay, so if I click on black, it's trying to be very careful, and you can see the marching ants, it's only selecting a few parts. So if I come over here and I click on this thick area, it does select more, but it's still not selecting all of it. There is a place, which of course now it's not helping me out. If we hold down the shift key, you can select more parts. Whoops. There was a place that I found earlier that allowed me to select almost the entire, there we go, right here. Notice how I have almost every single piece of black on here selected. You of course can use the shift key to hold down to select extra areas if needed, okay? But I got a good amount by doing it right down here. Be patient and find it. I'm going to Command C to copy, and now I'm going to come over here to my banner and I'm going to paste. Now when you paste, you want to double check, because if you have any white parts in there, you're going to need to redo your selection, because that's not exactly what you want. I'm going to use my scale tool, and my scale tool, you probably realize, that allows me to rotate a little bit. So I'm going to rotate this image so that I get kind of an interesting selection that's going to cover the left half of my banner. And I like how that looks. Now, it's a little bit dark, bright. And that's because this is faded out here and this is not. So with this layer selected, we're going to go into the layers panel and I'm going to reduce that opacity to 50%. And now that looks a whole lot better. Next, we just need to add some text. So I'm going to use the text tool down here in Vector. I'm going to choose my font, which I want you to choose Arial Black right up here. And the size is going to be 80. Right here, we need to choose the color. And you're going to see that it starts off telling us that it's black and white. If we go to Fill Options, and then we go to Fill Category, we can go back and choose Solid. And we want it to be white. And now we have our options correct. I'm going to type in the Alamo. And I'm going to move this to where it's a little bit above the center. Not too much, but just a little bit. And then I'm going to copy it. Command C, Command V. You can see in the layers that there's 2 of them there now. Okay. Now, this second one, the one below it, okay, so use your layers. Don't choose the top one, choose the bottom one. And we're going to change the font size of this one to 95. And then we're going to reduce the opacity here to 30. Now you can see the way I did this, that bottom one, they're both lined up here at the bottom of the word the Alamo. Okay, so they're lined up there, but the bigger one, obviously, it's on top. It reaches up higher and extends more to the right. So that's exactly how I want it. If you don't have yours like that, then you may want to select it, use the arrows on your keyboard to nudge it a little bit. Now I'm going to get the text tool one more time. I'm still using Arial Black and white as the color, only this time I am using a font size of 35. And in all lowercase letters now, I'm going to type an online tour. And it's going to fit practically the full width below the word Alamo right here. I don't want it to touch, but I want it to be close because I want it to be in close proximity. Now our banner's done, and with just a few easy steps we have a really pretty decorative banner that has the title of the website, an image which is showing us what our website is about. So you'll want to save this. First, you'll want to save it as a fireworks file. See fireworks PNG. You'll need to, of course, navigate to your folder in your Alamo. And this, because it's a fireworks PNG, should go in the source folder. So I'm going to call this Alamo Banner and hit save. And then we want to make this ready for the web. And remember that typically we choose a JPEG or a GIF file. So I'm going to do File, Save As. This one is going to go in the Images folder because this is the one that actually is going to go on the website. And then I'm going to change the format down here to a JPEG, just like that. Still saving it with the same name. Save. If I minimize and I go to my folder, I can see my PNG there, and I can see my JPEG there, exactly the way I want it.